Okay, y'all. As you can see, I didn't video taking it out, but this is a Carrier APU, and you only had to take 4 bolts and some of the fittings and wires and stuff. It wasn't firing, not even on starting fluid. So if you crank your Pc6000 Carrier APU, and it's not, and of course it was in my semi. And of course we work on redneck concrete. You can see the cardboard. And you can see the APU. I'm sorry about the background music, but I listen to Christian music when working, so I don't throw tools and I don't get upset, because if I'm worshiping the Lord, it keeps me positive. So whatever it takes to help you keep positive. But you can see the motor. I've tore it down. Just took the accessory stuff off so I could start tearing it down. And I took the head off, which has got about 10 bolts in it, size 12 millimeter. I believe they're 12s. Yeah, 12 millimeter. As you can see, one piston wasn't firing at all. The other piston, you can roll it over and see it better. But this piston back here was firing. And that soot is from starting fluid when I was trying to start it. But if I bring the other piston up, you have to excuse me here, you can see that there's no soot on it. Sorry about some stuff falling in it, but it wasn't firing for a while. And, but anyways, the intake valve, which is the one on the right side of the screen, was stuck. Couldn't push it with my fingers, because the others you can, with quite a bit of little force with your thumb, you can actually move it back and forth. Well, it wouldn't move, so I tapped it with a hammer a few times and freed it up. And of course, the trick here, you can see my baggies, head bolts. Put all your bolts right on baggies, so that way you can have it. Make sure you have a good metric set, because Carrier APUs are built in Canada, and I'm not in Canada, but and my APU has about 15,000 hours on it. Actually, it's 15,800 and something. But everything's metric on this, so make sure you have a good metric set, 3/8 and a 1/2 inch, and socket sets, and of course box end wrenches, open end wrenches. But you take engine, I'm gonna get me a spring compressor, which I thought I owned, but I can't find it. As you can see, it's kind of chaotic in this garage here. But it's right day before Christmas 2019, and while my mom and dad and my wife and everyone's inside doing stuff, I decided to come out here and finish tearing this down as far as I needed to go, to see what kind of a rebuild kit, which you can buy the rebuild kits online. Don't go to your Carrier APU dealer, your Transcold, wherever you want to go. Don't go to them. They cannot get you a rebuild kit. But you can search online and just Google Carrier APU, Pc6000, or whatever your number is, replacement parts, and you will find the website that I'm talking about. And they also do a little bit on there now for the tri-packs. And I don't know much about the tri-packs. But I do like my Carrier, and I like my old Carrier, not the new one with the red belt. This is the old style. But as you see, the head here, it's very simple. It's only a 2-cylinder job, but it's not going to take too much to get that spring compressed, clean it up, rebuild it if I have to, slap it back together, and see if it starts. And I'll post a video of it running once I get it done. I'm trying to get it done before the first of the year, if I can get the parts in. All right, well, thank you, and I hope this video helps you. Know that you can tear it down, and there are rebuild parts available. And when I get the parts in, I will, if I have to order any parts besides the head gasket and the valve cover. If you're ever changing the glow plugs, they're these right here. You do not have to take the valve cover off to change glow plugs or injectors. I replaced the injectors about 6 months ago. You just take these off, spin them, lift them off, and you just screw the glow plugs and the injectors in as far as they go, because this is a non-electronic engine. It's just an old diesel engine, a mechanical engine, just like the semis used to use. And before the electronic ECMs came out, so you don't have any adjustment. You just put them in. They will give you a little spacer. If your APU has a spacer in it, when you take the injector out, use the spacer. If it does not have the spacer, do not put it back in, because it'll throw off the spray into the cylinder. But everything else is pretty self-explanatory on them. They're just unbolt and bolt back together. If you have any kind of wrenching skills, you will be able to do this without any problem. If you're new to wrenching, then take your time, take lots of pictures, take a video, whatever it takes, but document the process as you tear it apart so you know where everything goes. Especially if you don't have a second unit. There are some wires that hook on the back side here. And you'll see there's a sensor here. It has to have wires hooked on. This is broke off a long time ago, but I just used it as a spacer because my eyelet was too big. But there's all kinds of wires that have to jump around and connect in. And if you take lots of pictures, you don't have to worry about it. Or if you're fortunate like me, I have a second truck with the same unit on it. So if I get in a snag where I don't know where something goes, all I gotta do is just pull the cover off the other one and figure it out. But then again, this is how the basics of the process that I went through to tear down the motor on a Carrier Pc6000. This is a 2008 model. And like I said previously, it has about 15,800 and give or take 50 hours on it. But the head's real small. I mean, one person can do it. I mean, this thing, as you can see, I mean, it weighs about 10 pounds. And after you get all, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 bolts that have to come out. And then I just tapped it with a hammer real lightly and broke the head gasket loose. And it pulled right off. But make sure you do unhook the injectors on this side, the fuel rail. And limit how much you take off, because you don't have to do everything. And don't pay someone to do your own oil change. It takes 1 gallon of oil. And you've got your oil filters right here. Your fuel filter is hanging on the frame itself. That's just hooked up by lines. So do it yourself. It's a gallon of 1540. 2 fuel filters, and I change the belts every time I change the oil, just so that way less likely to break. So I mean, altogether, I spend probably 45 bucks and do everything. Or if you just do an oil change at the truck stop, and it's 100, 150 bucks, and all they do is drop the oil and put filters on it, and you go. I mean, I change inline filters. I don't change the check valve, because you never really have to change the check valve. But if you ever have to remove it, make sure it's flowing the right direction. There is an arrow. So thank you again for watching. And I know I have other videos on here that are not about mechanical stuff, because my service to God is important. But I do drive truck, and I own the equipment. And we all need to be able to work on our own stuff. So have a blessed Christmas and a Happy New Year. I hope this video helped you.